Good morning.
Hello. Are we on the love boat here?
Yeah, I know, right? So this is one of the new things that has come up with from StreamYard that they're charging us $20 extra a month for. Yeah, it went up, and I don't want to go to OBS, so I'm just gonna have to eat the cost. Which I'm generally not have a problem with, but considering I'm currently unemployed, means that I am trying to figure that out. But yes, we're on the love boat. We're on the prep boat. Oh man, it's my giant melon fitting into this little circle. So the thing I wanted to first do is, didn't we come up with a way to do? I really wish I knew somebody who wanted to do the stuff for our Mount Monsters game.
I mean, I don't not, but again, it's just
No, it's a pain in the ass, and I thought we had like a thing to do, like figure out like what the monster was, or did we? Help me out here, Matt. It's been so long since I look at it. I can't even remember my own fucking name sometimes. Beard, good morning. Sorry. I didn't acknowledge you in your beauty and glory.
Witness me.
I thought we had a way to do it, but now I don't. Yeah, go back up a little bit there. So there's episode creation.
Okay. Here's the episode of session and name. Okay, so yeah, we have to figure out. I want to figure out a name for our extra life session. That's what I definitively want to do right now.
Okay.
That is what I want to get accomplished. That is my main accomplishment goal this morning. So, because I got a name for my simple D&D Oz game, we have a name for my DC game, and I've already kind of got that sorted out, I think. I don't know, my liminal horror, I would also like to figure out something with that, but coming up with a name, I think. So since I don't know if anybody has been checking out those pellet reviews that I've been doing, thank you to Colin, who's not with us this morning, for posting those for me, because apparently you've got to pay Discord in order to post videos, which is just
what?
Yeah. But I think I did my favorite of all time pellet review last night with Doug. It was a Casual King joint because we watched a movie called Bigfoot: The Lost Cove Tapes.
Okay.
That was Doug watching it for the second time. That was me watching it for the first time and only time. But I felt like our review was very good.
So it was not something you would revisit?
No. I didn't know what it wanted to be. The main character, I wanted to punch him the moment he came on screen. There was a character we both loved. He died off screen, which was frustrating. Kevin, our boy.
Hey, Super Spike.
Super Spike. So just kind of, it was very proto Mount Monsters, though. There was a lot of stuff that was very Mountain Monsters, and it came out a year before Mountain Monsters.
Interesting.
So, I mean, there was piss, there were Bigfoot nests, there were personal stuff. It's getting personal. It was like very much like, it felt like a template for Mountain Monsters a little bit. It was found footage.
Okay.
It just different Big Feet, and potentially Big Feet being Native American protectors, protecting us from, we never really find out what, potentially sheep squatch, because their hooved feet might be the devil, might be aliens. I don't know. They don't tell you. They just fucking end it. There's bright lights and it's over. Oh, and you're killed by spirit people.
Oh, well, sure.
Yeah, it did feel like that entire season when they were in like the Blackwoods.
Yeah.
It felt like that on steroids. It felt like maybe Colt Straub and Trapper had sit down and watched this movie.
I mean, not impossible.
and nobody's seen this piece of shit. We can rip it off as much as we want. Also, I want to reiterate something. I know I've said it before, and I want to say it again because it deserves repeating. Isn't that a line from a song?
Maybe.
Isn't that like a line from a White Stripes song?
What is?
I know I said it before, but it bears repeating now.
Yeah, I've said it once before, but it bears repeating.
Yeah, it's fell in love with the girl.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Beard. This is one of my favorite action figures of all time. I love to use like, hey guys. Sorry, I take my joy where I can get it.
So you're looking for a name for your episode. Is it just like, are you looking for you're just looking for a monster, really, though?
A monster, and I feel like a location. I feel like most monster episodes have a location and a monster. I mean, I'm not sure if you remember that, but I certainly remember that convention.
Yes.
Damn it.
Street beaver more than meets the eye. Street beaver, beavers in disguise. What was the name we gave Street Beaver?
I don't know. You named him.
Oh, he's so good. And he's so soft after being washed. And
Shaggy, what are you doing for your birthday, man?
Shagalicious!
It's a shaggy day.
Yeah, it is a shaggy day.
Well, yeah, happy.
Another year older, another year closer to death.
I wish that you could go and see the Cubs. That's what I wish for all of us, that we could go see our own special team, whatever that team may be.
My special team is right here on the screen.
Oh, well, you do get that then.
Well, all right. So, I mean, I just searched here.
Should we do a Minnesota one?
There's that option, but also, let's see if I can.
The Blue Ox.
That's true. Maybe they're hunting Jesse the Body Ventura.
That would be amazing.
I've been hiding out in the woods in Minnesota.
Here's something you don't know about me. I'm Sasquatch.
The thing you don't know about me is I'm always legislating.
I shave my head every morning, but I get that weird tail because I'm part Yeti.
Beard, I feel like you should play in this game and just play as Jesse Ventura.
I feel like if we do that, this needs to be like at the end of the weekend, because otherwise I will not have a voice, because that voice is so hard to do. When Colin decided that his character was going to be basically like a Jesse Ventura voice for Extra Life a couple years ago, and then I brought that character back. That was the hardest thing. Oh my God,
Spike,
ever.
You son of a bitch. I ain't got time to read.
All right, so yes, it came out first because alphabetically, but this is pretty great. I do like this. The Alabama White Fang.
What? The Alabama White
Fang, yes. You
know what? That sounds like some Outriders shit from.
It sounds like Nick Saban's nickname when we was coaching.
It's been cited since it's been excited throughout the 1900s, as far back as the 40s.
Does it have an area?
Alabama.
Alabama has counties, Matt.
Well, it's all over the place. I'd have to do more research. The other thing that I like that is interesting.
All right, Jeff.
Also, yeah. Let me get my thermal camera here.
What is it? What do you have on thermal?
But what I like about the White Fang is that it has also apparently been described as a large cat, a bear, and a wolf. So You've got
large cat, bear, and or wolf.
yeah. So
Perfect.
it's a Sasquatch, but it's also been described as all of those things. So maybe it's a fucking shapeshifter.
Oh god, this is Matt. Please tell me you're gonna play in this game.
I mean, it sounds like I have to.
Oh god. So I was asking about the Jesse Ventura thing because I was like, so there's like roles, right? There's 6 roles. We decided like you pick one of these 6 and then you pick a background. Zaza would be perfect for Jesse Ventura. That would be his role. He's the head of the family, the old wise folk, the head of the group who shares their wisdom, their experience, and the person with the plan. I have the plan for a tax cut to help the middle class of Bigfoot. Oh my god, this is
Yeah, I don't know. Seems, I mean, just based on the lack of definitive information about it and the name, I mean, it sounds like a perfect Mountain Monsters creature.
It really does, and I think we're going with that to the hunt for the Alabama white thing.
Yes.
Doug took the Mountain Monsters theme song and he cut it up so it's just the song and sent it to me, and I'm going to do an opening song. Like, so whoever's playing it, I'm going to ask them to send me a picture in their best hillbilly impersonation so we can do like an opening video. I think it's going to be the greatest thing ever. And I'm going to just, my singing for this song is just going to be, because most of the time I can't understand the words of that stupid fucking song until it's like, be there. Oh god.
Well, it's you're gonna go down to the Mountain Man town where the whiskey something and the
it's the worst. It makes me so happy. But we finished Mountain Monsters.
Oh, you have finished it now.
Finished it. That's why we didn't watch. We haven't started or finished or By the Fire yet.
Okay.
We were going to do that, but then it was like, well, you should watch something on your horror 31 and 31. So
yeah, I
so
mean,
like, you can either pick the movie or I can pick a movie. And I was like, well, why don't you pick a Bigfoot movie? Because first he picked a movie called Bloody Bloody Bible Camp, starring Reggie Bannister from Phantasm, and Ron Jeremy.
Oh.
I was first I was like, I really don't want to watch this because Ron Jeremy's in it. I don't know if he's been convicted, but he's had multiple. I don't care about his porn career. It doesn't bother me. Make your money. It's all the sexual assaults that I care about. We gave it 20 minutes. And even Doug was like, I don't want to watch this movie. I was like, yeah, I don't either. It was real bad. It wasn't just that it was low budget, because I watched Dude Party Massacre 3 last year, which, if you've never heard of it, it is like a comedians doing a send-up of camp slashers.
Oh, yeah.
It was like Patton Oswalt is in it, and was one of the writers. It's fucking hilarious. But this was like trying to be that and had no talent. So it was bad.
Oh, yeah. That's a very hard or fine line to walk.
I don't know. Matt, were you a video store kid?
Not really.
I forget you guys are way younger than me. Beard, you weren't either.
Well,
What the fuck are you talking about?
You were like not like a Blockbuster, but like shitty hometown videos.
Dude, we had Panorama Video. We had Video.
Okay.
We had everything.
Yeah, we had.
I also went to college when there was like the crazy awesome Doc International video store over on West Bank and Seward.
Okay. Do you guys remember like those movies that were shot on video that would come out? I know Beard's seen Black Devil Doll from Hell, which is a good example of what I'm talking about. these movies that were literally shot on video, and so the quality like of the visuals is like your mom shooting your birthday party. And their general like budget was like maybe $5,000. Generally shot in someone's house. It was like the upgrade of the movie like Things.
I mean, I have friends who made stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. That's what this was like. So unlike the millions of dollars Jim Jarmusch spent on The Dead Don't Die and just let people talk and look bored as fuck, which was just the big budget version of this, with a cast. I'm sorry, that movie disappointed me beyond all measure. This was that with no money, no actors. Sorry, Reggie Bannister. I love you, and you're one of my favorite parts of Phantasm, like all of them, because you were the one person who kept coming back. But no, it was bad. It made me really like skeeved out. So
Cool.
I loved movies like that though. Like growing up and going to the video store, my friend Chris would always call them tryhards. Let's at least get one tryhard. And because usually they were like movies where you could tell like the people who were doing it were fucking all in.
Yeah.
And it was like they were trying so hard that it actually made it more fun. Or as my other friend Chris, because my two best friends were Chris and Chris, would call them video store Dudikoffs. Because we would occasionally rent Michael Dudikoff movies.
Sure.
Because Michael Dudikoff was the everyman action star. And by everyman, I mean an action star who should not be an action star.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who in River of Death, while hiding in the swamp, a bad guy is pissing off of a dock, and he pulls him down by his penis. And when asked how he escaped in River of Death, he said, "What was I supposed? I will remember this for my entire life. What was I supposed to do? There were like 5 guys, and one of them had a gun." I just remember, like, what? You're the action hero in this movie. Okay. Anyway,
Ooh. Hey, can I interrupt for just 1 second?
Of course.
My brother just posted the Ultimate Vader figure. Have you seen that with the white cape?
Yeah, it just came out, or it was
amazing.
dated to today.
Yeah,
I have not.
I had not seen that yet. It looks.
Oh, it's a very similar cape to what we got from the Superstars figure.
Yes, longer.
Yeah,
which means that you have the Superstars cape that I've got back. But...
Oh, I like the fact you get masked,
both versions,
maskless. And it looks like you get like the you don't get the full head lightning bolt mask.
No,
I like the
but I've got that. I
like
from the
the
previous
closed mouth face a lot, though.
Yeah, it's a solid figure.
That's really cool.
I mean, I'm still gonna have to bash together like 3 different Vaders to get an ultimate one because they didn't include the Mastodon
helmet. Yeah,
but that's okay. I also got today before the stream.
Oh, here. Can someone make Matt big?
Can someone make Matt big?
Make Matt biggest.
James, can you make Matt big?
Let's get some power. There you go.
Well, I'm not familiar with that mask.
No, and you shouldn't be because it was a very brief run that was a joke, and supposed punishment for marijuana possession for.
Oh, is that when he was like who?
Yep. It's a 2-in-1 deal. So you get this figure with his new Foundation outfit, and then he comes with the swappable head.
I love that head.
So you can have who.
If you see that, if you just see that head floating around, I would.
All right, duly noted.
Because I actually like that masked head a lot.
I will. I mean, if you want this Neidhart head,
No,
all right.
I don't care. I don't care about. Okay. Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay.
great.
Beard is
Before we
putting up information.
Before we get back onto the whatever we're up to here, I was going to throw one thing at you, and we don't need to discuss it now, but I just want to put it out there so you can think on it, Ben. As far as your DC game goes, I was thinking about how it could be very interesting, maybe not in this session, but in a future one, to use the original version of Monarch.
From the one that was supposed to be Captain Atom.
Yes, the Captain Atom Monarch that never actually existed, because that ties in with all the other stuff you've been.
My question is, how would you use him?
That I don't know, but I do like.
I love the idea because I think that costume is amazing.
Well, and I like the idea of a character. You haven't seen Deadpool Wolverine,
no,
but one of the bits in there is, Channing Tatum finally gets to be Gambit, and there's a lot of references to like how he never got to show the world what he could do, and stuff like that. And I like the idea of that, but with a villainous character, because it's like, I was going to be the big bad of this thing, and then they found out my secret identity ahead of time, so now it's this freaking kid.
What if he is who the that architect, that rogue architect, sends after them, as like, hey, I will make you. I will bring you out of the bin, the 10-cent bin.
The other thing that I thought might be interesting is what if there is a character in Limbo who is actually manipulating or holding something over the architects? Because if they're semi-fictional, he could presume.
Who would that be, though?
I don't know. That's it was just it occurred to me, and I'm like, there's something here, but I think
there's a lot here. That's the thing why I think this could be something that goes on. I love that, though. Did you see they've eliminated the multiverse from the Prime world now? The Omniverse exists, but they can no longer. The Prime Earth is cut off.
Oh, okay.
And that's how they were. That's how they were able to keep Waller from bringing in her multiversal team. They literally used the Flash to cut it off, and now the Flash can't even run fast enough to pierce that veil. And then Darkseid basically ate the Spectre, and is now like the
I've got that issue. I have not.
The Avatar of Death, and he separates Prime Earth into the Absolute as well. So the Absolute universe exists outside of the Prime Earth.
I figured.
And that's Darkseid's world. That's where Darkseid won. And he's just there to cause it to be miserable and awful, so he can gain power to go back to Prime Earth. Because he shows up and the Justice League beat him. Even with the Spectre power. They're able to... I think beating him is the wrong way, because it's the full-blown Justice League, like all 30 members.
Okay.
And it's cool because like the magic users that they all have, which is like 10 characters, cast a spell on Superman so he's not vulnerable to magic, so he can fight Darkseid, because Darkseid is now magic because he ate the Spectre. It's great.
Well, yeah, it's more just like, I don't know how you can't. How do you cast a spell on somebody to make them? You can't use magic to make them somebody immune to magic. But anyway,
fucking D&D, baby.
Yeah,
it's really cool. And then they figure out that the only person who can travel to this other Earth is someone who is like has time traveled because their tachyons are different. So it's Booster. And so Booster goes to the absolute universe. And the first thing he sees is the Daily Planet with a giant Omega sign on it. And he's like, oh, fuck, what have we done? And so I think it's going to be him stuck there.
All right.
Because he needs
curious to check out.
he needs Skeets to get back, and they're immediately separated. So
yeah, I've got that one shot on the shelf. I picked it up yesterday. I just haven't had a chance to read it yet, so I'll be
I just
curious to see what it reads like.
It's a flip book too.
Yes,
which I also love.
Yeah.
Do you did you already see the spoilers of who doesn't make it out?
No, so don't spoil anything for me.
Yeah. Once the multiverse is cut off, Darkseid loses his shit.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a great plan on his part, just from the face of it. But maybe I'll change my.
He just has this realization that, because Darkseid is. There's only one Darkseid in the entire omniverse.
Oh, that I didn't know.
Yeah, so he's like, why am I starting to get cut off from things? It's an interesting concept. I really like the idea of it. And I'm more and more sold on the absolute universe being something so completely different and removed that they're going to keep it separate so they can kind of grow things, with the idea that eventually we're going to get back to those Earth 1, Earth 2 type of crossovers, because they kept. So Superman, when he recruits Booster's like, I finally got to this time period because in the museum I worked at, there was a JLA membership, Justice League membership card from this era, like the card you're giving me, but it was blank and it was a representation of the golden age of heroes. So this tells me we're here, like the great age of heroes has arrived. So he tells that story, and Mr. Terrific, when they do the big, like, all grouped together, he says, like, we keep this card blank as a representation of anybody could achieve membership by wanting to better the world. When Darkseid shows up and they fight after he gets basically banished, the card turns into like a ripped portal. And the card has Darkseid's Omega symbol on it. And they don't know how to close it. It's just in the watchtower. It's really interesting. I like this whole idea of the League being, it feels very much like the Justice League Unlimited cartoon, which I'm all about. This fucking, all the people that are on this team, it's wild. Like, I'm looking forward to, maybe we get a story with Roy Harper, Orion, and Raven. I don't care. Just get these weird groupings. Like the fact that like Orion's on the team, first of all, makes me very happy.
Well, Wade's writing, so that's that's a big plus in general. He's been doing great on the World's Finest.
It has a little bit of that Morrison feel too of his time on Justice League, where it's just like, it feels like they're going to walk that line of continual ratcheting up of threats and the continual telling of like small stories with like small teams. Also, like the Avengers team, that like the emergency response team feels very similar to that as well.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that having a smaller or just a different grouping. The first issue of that was really solid. I can't remember who's writing that. It's somebody who I really like. I think they might be Steve Orlando. It's
just a really good concept, and it feels like the Justice League Unlimited TV show, which I mean, like, some of my favorite episodes of all of the Tim and Denny verse are from that era. You know,
Well, Dwayne McDuffie, baby.
yeah. I mean, there's things in that like Stars and Stripes. I'm trying to think who else was in that story where they go to Scartaris. Is one of my favorite. Like I think Green Arrow's in that story, and they end up in Scartaris with the Warlord during this massive conflict. There's dinosaurs and fucking orcs, and it's just this like everything encapsulated into one thing. You know, it's just like we're gonna throw everything against the wall. But then you'll get a story of Roulette having a fighting tournament, and she's just using female superheroes, like using things to like brainwash them. And when the ladies have this big knockdown throwdown tag team between what is it? It's Vixen, Hawk Girl, are against each other, and it's like a Black Canary and Huntress, and they're able to like unmind control each other, and you think they've won, and then Roulette releases Wonder Woman, so it's those four against Wonder Woman, and she just kicks the shit out of them. It's such a cool thing, and then at the end of that entire episode, we get the Rocky 3 ending of Black Canary and Huntress basically finally having their throwdown. You know, of like, oh well, this isn't about animosity anymore. This is about who's better. You know, ding ding. It's great. So anyway, I think I already mentioned that the Rogue Architect would be Dan DiDio. I'm gonna put that in there.
Yeah, he just did a story in some one shot where he just killed Nightwing over and over and over again.
I hate him so much. Why that guy hates the Titans so much, I don't understand. Almost all the Titans are now in the Justice League, which I absolutely love. Like fucking Roy's in the league, for God's sakes. So
I mean, he has been before, but good.
Roy can annoy the fuck out of me, I'll be honest. All right, anyway, back to what we were working on. I don't know what else Duke was interested in, but I did put down Anyone Can Wear the Mask, which I hope he runs, because man, that game looks amazing.
You mentioned Cult on the
He did mention Cult?
Yeah. We didn't end up running that last year because we just didn't have the people for it, though. And then Nathan said that he would run, what is it? Trash Pandas or something. It's like a raccoon one. Where is it? Raccoon Sky Pirates.
Oh.
And that's like a simple, like one pager, if I remember it. Okay. Well, I didn't want that. I wanted
The other thing that I was thinking about is like what I would run if I do that time quangle. And
I think I'm going to take
we've talked about this a lot in the past. And I think that we've done it successfully in some years, and others we just kind of let it slide. But if I did time quangle, I think I'd want to look at 10 years of what we've done, like the last 9 years, and have some real bonkers ass kind of crazy mishmash of different sessions. And so I'm trying to go back through all of my old notes and find I was close with Rad Trash Pandas. Morning, Christy. How are you?
Hey, Christy.
But yeah, thinking about all of that, because I kept saying like, oh, maybe I'll do this, I'll do that, and I was talking with Christy and Joel and Nate about all the things that we could run or things that we have run, and that's what I was trying to kind of like sort out. It's like, would I want to run old versions of my old games or games I'd run previously, and then I was like, oh no, I think I should just also put it all in a blender and have different storylines from all of the different Extra Life D&D games and other things. I was also thinking it would be really fun to do the Christmas adventure as a time quangle and just have like all these random ass holiday boys and girls joining in, but I don't know.
So another thing I wanted to talk about today, because we talked about this a little bit yesterday, Beard. And I'll make it big in a second. Is our post Extra Life, like what comes next?
I think a regular DM-less game with a regular group would be very fun. We talked about playing the Zone. But yeah, I would love that. I think that one of the best things that came out of Extra Life that one year was when we started playing, even though it's not fantastic, the Dragonfire, the like D&D card game. When we started playing.
Oh, I love that. I didn't love it, but I mean, I love the fact we were playing a game repeatedly. I did not like that game. To me, it felt a lot like when we used to do Troll Strong.
Yeah, it's.
I miss doing Troll Strong.
It's a not as good version of the.
I still have those games.
I know.
I still have those two giant box Pathfinder card games, and they were a lot of fun.
Yeah, they were great.
It was too bad that certain people in that group just dropped off the face of the fucking earth. They were just like, I guess we're not gonna play anymore. Bye. So,
well, we could have kept playing.
Yeah, we could have. No, I just think that it was hard when you're like 4 parts into a 7-part adventure.
Yeah.
And like a third of the group just goes by. Because at that point you've allocated points and equipment and everything to those folks, and there's no real way in the rules to just reallocate those. So you're just out those, and the game does not quite have the ability to scale back because it's continually scaling up.
Yeah,
and doesn't have anything where it can scale back because of lost players.
Well, maybe we get a group and do that.
I wouldn't mind doing that, but another thing, if we're going to do that, I'd rather just do Frostgrave. Because Frostgrave is basically DM-less, story-driven skirmish. And it's not even really skirmish anymore because you don't even have to fight each other. You can just fight the monsters. You can make a pact of non-aggression. In fact, you can get certain cards in the beginning of the game to get extra points. You draw off, I think it's called unknown motivation cards. And some of them literally are like, don't attack other players, and then get extra points at the end of the game for not attacking other players. There's one in there, in fact, it's like donate treasure to at least one other player. And it's like, oh, that's fucking awesome. And they knocked back in the second edition rules, they knocked back all the experience you used to get for killing other players. Now you don't get as much experience for attacking other players. Which also was like why the one time we played it with a huge group and one player came to the table who was a competitive gamer and built a competitive squad and played it like a competitive game because that's what they really thought they were doing, and wiped out like over half the players And those players were like, I don't want to play with that person ever again. Because we were like not even fighting back, and they just crushed us. And I don't blame that player. That was that player's style. But damn. It was like once you killed the second player, maybe make the realization that like no one else. I mean, you're not even going after treasure at this point. You're just murking players.
Well, those players have treasure.
The problem was they didn't yet.
Well, they were.
They could conceivably.
They have
treasure.
the potential to.
Yeah, they conceivably.
What if they were concealing it on their?
Well, you know what? They did have treasure. They had experience points.
Yep.
Yeah.
They were walking experience point buffs.
Well, if they're not there, then they can't get the treasure.
Exactly. If you're dead, I get experience and the treasure you possibly would have gotten. Anyway, I think so. We could put, and I'll just call it Troll Strong because I think that's. Should I call it Troll Strong or should I call it?
I don't want to call it Troll Strong.
I
mean, it wasn't always called Troll Strong. It was called Troll Strong after people started trolling.
Was that what it was? I don't remember why we called it that.
Yeah.
I would also put core space on
Troll Strong just sounds like there's like a troll freaking
it's like strong bad.
Shit.
The only thing about these
Lance Armstrong.
Yeah.
I mean that's what it was based on. It was
a troll version of Lance Armstrong.
Yeah. Like
the only thing about
these
these would all be in-person games.
Yeah. But I mean, it depends, right? It depends on what of those are available online and how, obtuse it is to play it. Like I would imagine by this point, the Pathfinder card game, you could find a version of it online, I don't know, but, and then I think that the other thing is like, what do you want to keep, right? Like what happens on stream, and and again, right, we kind of did this a couple years ago and we had some things, and then those things kind of petered out, and then I think that you've for the last 2 years really have like kind of kept the channel going, because I'm not running a regular D&D game on there, and we don't stream anything else anymore. We don't have the kind of like games run by other people. I mean, it's basically either you or Colin heading up, 95% of the content, and so the question is like, is that worth it to like keep things going for Extra Life, or is it better to play in person, or is it better to, have some mix? Because I think that that's the big challenge. I mean, you haven't suddenly become not immunocompromised, and I think that that's part of the consideration in all of this is kind of like, what's the healthiest thing for all of us, both like physically and mentally. Yeah, because I just like, I'm looking back to these. I put one of the descriptions that you had, in the thing. I hear it's lovely this time of year.
What was that?
It's a session from 2018, maybe. It says the fabric of reality is unraveling on the material plane, and the veil between the known world and the fabled lost continents grows thin. As the old ones continue to awaken and spread their madness, an envoy of pilgrims and refugees, armed with knowledge long forgotten, brought from beyond the veil, and are seeking out a fragile moment along the sinew that connects the two worlds, and they might be able to pass through. They have vowed to do anything to find respite from the ensuing insanity that has consumed the only reality they have ever known. You wonder as they share their sacred secrets, could this be your last best hope to save yourself from the oncoming bedlam, or is this another false prophecy in a world destined for doom? Like, that's some hot shit, and I feel like that's like the level of hot shit we used to drop, and we would do, I mean, obviously we're not capable of doing like 6 sessions, 7 sessions a piece anymore. But man, like I think part of thinking about what happens after Extra Life is like I would love 1 or 2 of those things to just have the kind of spice of that, you know.
Well, I think so. Here's one thing I would say. Number one, I can't bring that same heat. My brain doesn't work that way. Like, I'm hearing you read that, and I'm just like, who wrote that? Because you said I wrote it, but
I mean, maybe we wrote it together. Maybe,
but I don't at all feel like I can write that, you know, and maybe I did. I just don't feel like I don't feel like I can write that anymore. I don't think my brain is good enough to write that anymore. I mean, and I'm not being mean about it, but it's upsetting to even hear that and know that I may have wrote that, because it's just like, it's sad because I'm like, I can't do that. And it sucks. I mean, and I know it's not intent at all. Like, I feel like even this was good, but it doesn't hit like that does. For Forever on the Edge of the City, the write-up, the thing was, Mordru has decimated the Legion of Superheroes as they fled through hypertime to hide the Legionnaire, who just so happens to be a young version of Mordru. The Legionnaire has crashed into the JSA Brownstone, hoping to find help, but no one's there. Well, no one except you. Mordru approaches collapsing hypertime in his wake, cutting Battery Park off from the multiverse in a last-ditch attempt to consume his younger self, and once and for all end the threat of the Legion. Like, I kind of like what you read and then what I just read. First of all, I had to kind of fix it as I went along because I didn't even write it well. It just... Anyway. There's a reason I think I forget those things. It's because I think if I have to go back and listen to them or read them, it's just like sounds like it's from a different person.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. No, but we did do hot shit. And
I mean, I guess the other thing is, how much shit were you doing at that time? Because, you know.
In games?
Just, yeah, how many different things were you doing?
A lot. I think it was probably, between 5 and 7 games on a weekend.
Yeah, I mean, you had, well, over the course, the 24 hours. But I mean, you were also running, 4 games a month, and we were doing Troll Strong, and I mean, we were also like immersed in it a lot more, and like very singularly in that, like in the known world. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that you have, just looking at this, right? This is like very kind of disparate options, that creates a lot more variety. But like, we weren't doing any Star Wars anything. We weren't doing anything.
I don't even remember writing that, and I don't even remember the game.
Yeah. Well, it was also 8 years ago, so the only reason I remember it is because I'm like literally just going through old shit right now. Anyhow.
So James and I were talking about doing things, little show things again yesterday. And I was saying how one thing I really like about 1-800-HOT-DOG is they're like, it's an hour. If it starts to go over an hour, that stuff goes into bonus podcast.
It varies. I mean, it definitely varies, but they're trying to hold to that a little bit more. Yeah.
And one thing I think that on Spoop Troop we've done really well is it used to be we would do a synopsis of a movie and that'd be half the episode. Because then it would be like, oh yeah, and then this thing, and oh yeah, remember that thing? So now we have 60-second synopsis. And generally the goal has become like, who can do the shortest synopsis? So I did the synopsis last Thursday for Salem's Lot 2024 in 21 seconds. And Colin went like 40 seconds. And even his was like, we both could have went on and on and on. But it's really helped because it's like a synopsis, 3 tangents, and food talk. Yes. I love the idea of that. So 60 minutes, 60-minute time limit, one fall, 60-minute time limit. Anything extra would go into a separate file that may or may not at some point go on a Patreon. So here's my thing for Patreon. With this now becoming like almost $50 a month, if there was just a little bit to offset that, that'd be cool. So
yeah.
But I also know, like, I don't think we had like 4 or 5 viewers last Thursday, and one of which on YouTube responded like, I am done watching this. a name I did not recognize, and we talked about that for a while on the show. I kept coming back to it. Part of us is we're like, is this person okay? Like, are you all right? Just like the finality, you put that statement out there and there's a finality to it. I'm like, did you just like go do something bad? So, you know, I guess it would be one of those things is I always hope at some point someone will be like, you know what, this was pretty cool. You know, I'll listen to these assholes. A good example is we were watching Nurse last night, and Nurse is a streamer. And she took like almost a year off and came back. And I love Nurse because she does a lot of Zomboid. And I find Nurse to be hilarious. Like she does like her Zomboid. She's better at Zomboid than I am, but she'll do like ridiculous challenges. And when she does like big, she'll do sometimes, she used to do on her Discord, like servers where she would just let the Discord players play on it with her, and then wild shit would happen on this Discord. It was amazing. And now, right now, her streams are she tries out different mods. And the other night, I don't know if there was a game that just came out. It's a zombie game. I can't remember what it's called. It's called Dread Dawn, and it looked great. And then it came out and it got review bombed negatively as like it's full of fucking Bitcoin mining. It's a Chinese game that looks a lot like Zomboid. And it's like, she was like, well, I'm going to play this game. And people were like, don't. It's bad. And it is literally just spyware. So at one point she's like debating it because she bought it like on stream. And it's like a little under $20. And she's like, okay, I'm going to play this game. And somebody's like, don't, just go look at somebody else who's playing it. And then we'll watch them and you can talk about it. She raided another streamer. She just found whoever was doing it. Took all of her viewers onto their stream. And then was like, after like 2 minutes of listening to this streamer, who was like very fucking wholesome, she was like, everyone should subscribe to this person. This person's awesome. And they did. So you just watch this person's subscriber thing just blow the fuck up. And it was so goddamn wholesome. And then she went back and she's like, okay, we're going to give this game a try. And then she was like, it's 27 gigs. It's going to take an hour just to install. We're going to play something else. And that was like the first hour of the stream. And it was the best. But I love that idea of like maybe someday someone will actually fucking see this shit, and they'll like maybe they'll see fucking Drakewind, or maybe they'll see some Extra Life stuff and see some merit in it and enjoy it. I don't know if that'll ever happen. The internet's huge. So I enjoy the people we do have, but I would like to be able to at least start to cover a little bit of cost. And I think Patreon's the best way to do it, because we can't. I'm sorry, we're just not ever going to be big enough to like be an affiliate or anything like that. I just don't foresee that happening. We're not David. We're not Hive of Bees. We're not folks we know who are. We're not Clarksky.
Well, but we also don't. We also don't do that part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not making clips and we're not putting it on different things, and we're not even posting to the social media we do have when we have things on.
But we did that back in the day for a couple months, and we got no real traction.
But a couple months is nothing, man. Like, Clark didn't break 100 until he was like, I don't know, 6 months in.
It is a very, got to be very consistent.
I agree with you. I don't think we can, but I don't think it's because we're incapable with our content.
Yeah, is that the goal? Because that's a pain in the ass.
No, I don't think it's the goal either, which is another thing. It's just hard. I'm in some ways currently I'm having a hard time figuring out what the goal is. Does that make sense?
Sure.
As James is saying, when it's like you're shouldering 360 days out of the year, like 90% of the content, it's not even talking toward content. You start to go like, what are we doing? Like, what am I doing? And it's not that I do, and it's the thing. I think the only reason I'm having this moment in time is I have it maybe once every 3 to 6 months, is I'm just stressed about other shit. So then everything becomes existential crisis.
Yeah. And it's also just okay to not do.
But it's the thing, is I enjoy it.
Well, sure. But is the enjoyment commensurate with the effort being expended? And that's your call to make.
But what am I going to spend that effort on outside of this? I don't know. But that's the thing, is I have no idea. I don't have any idea what I want.
Right.
I don't have any. I don't have right now. I have no idea of what I'm doing at all.
Yeah.
And again, it's not meant to upset anyone. It's definitely not meant to give you shit, Beard. But just hearing that thing that's like, you wrote that, it's just like, it's so fucking crushing to hear that, and then think about like, I don't think I could write that on my best day now, and I don't know if is it good. Was that game good? Because you know what? I don't fucking remember it. I don't remember. I remember we did the first Extra Life from the architecture office. Am I right? Was that the very first one?
Yeah.
You know what? The only thing I can remember about that, and I don't even think that's when I did it, was the puzzle dungeon.
Yeah, the puzzle dungeon was first year.
The thing that went fucking horrifically wrong.
I don't see,
and I enjoy the fact that I can look back at that and go, God damn, was that a shit show? But like, that's the thing, is like, I wish I could remember some of this other stuff. Like, I remember Alex, and I don't remember where that was and when it was. I remember Alex, there was a train and a Bertie Sanders character.
That was also year one.
Okay, who was constantly talking about dragons and reestablishing the equitable distribution of wealth.
They own all the wealth. We need to redistribute it. Yeah, that was like his entire shtick.
I know other stuff happened that was fucking awesome. I just don't fucking remember it. And I know there's been other cool shit that has happened, but I don't fucking remember it. And I can't express how frustrating that is.
But I'll say, but when you look at that, right? Like, I know that must be incredibly frustrating, and I don't pretend to understand that, but I think that one of the things that we haven't ever done either is we've never really cataloged all of this. Like, I have it all in posts, and I have it in docs, and I have it in that, and like, if we were really wanting to like be stewards of the Extra Life experience or these or other things like that, like going back, I mean, honestly, like I said when we were hanging out yesterday, I was like, man, you know, it would be great to just go back and be like, who's your favorite character? Oh yeah, Matt, we found a way around getting sued by Spike TV or whoever it was that had Characters Welcome. TBS.
That was USA.
USA, yeah. We're like, we're gonna. Ben was like, we should call this thing Characters Welcome, and we'll like interview people about their favorite characters. And I was like, no, let's not get decent assisted like we did with the Dive Club shirt. We'll call it Characters, you're welcome.
Which is my favorite thing we came up with yesterday.
And I was like, we should do that. We should do that during Extra Life. You know, like
I got this all screwed up. No, money down.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, to me, you know, I'll share the ones we did when we did that Thin Veil one that Alex ran. Alex and I started doing interviews, and we had them set up with everybody like that. After the first 2 sessions, he like did an interview with each of the people to like talk to them about their characters and like whether they thought they were what they thought they were when they created them. And it was fascinating. It was so good. But I mean, if we went and did that about every game we ran, I mean, I think that's the thing is like the other part of this is I think a lot of it's hard to remember because you were also running 4 fully realized groups that also had overlap, and you've also gone from having like a full ass binder for each group and all of the prep and all of the, you know, I mean, mic levels of, you know, of lore with some of that to, you know, shifting over to a different play style altogether. You know, I don't think that you used to remember it all. I think you used to just have it written down and be able to like go back and get it, you know, I mean, and not to like be disparaging, but I think that like you didn't keep it all in your head. You had like a crazy, I mean, you had a tome, you know, when I joined 4th group, like, you know, and you were like, I'm going to switch to 5th group. And you showed me that like binder. I was like, oh, holy shit.
He had binders full of women.
He had binders full of characters. You're welcome, you know, but I just, you know, I think about even the prep that went into switching from 4th to 5th, you know, doing that microscope, you know, I mean, the breadth and depth of that as something compared to kind of like how we've started games with some of these like great, you know, like low bar to entry, quick start things has been great. You know, I mean, I think it's allowed different players to jump in, and I think it's allowed us to be more nimble. But back then, we were never interested in being nimble. We didn't stream anything. We didn't have that as a concern. We also played for like 4 hours a pop, you know, and, you know, had drinks and food, or we do it on a Saturday and just do it all day long. And we also used to be in our 30s, you know, which I think.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, priorities change, you know.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I think if we were going to do something like this, when you say, I feel the, like, what does it all mean question a lot, or like, what, you know, what's our goal? Like, what are we trying to get out of this? You know, and the question I always ask is like, what am I doing as part of like raising money for Extra Life? And then what am I doing to like make me happy and spend time with my friends? And I think that the balance of that is hard. You know, I think that that's the biggest obstacle is like, if we were going to do this and we were going to like, you know, very earnestly try to stream regularly and, you know, do things like that. I mean, that's what we kind of tried doing, you know, at that one point where we're like, okay, you know, when I was really harping, like, let's just stream Mondays and Thursdays. Let's not, you know, kind of have other things, you know, like in other weeks or, you know, kind of alternating weeks. Or if we do that, let's like always have something on a Monday and Thursday. Cause that's why Dave and Clark got traction eventually, is because they were just like every Monday, you know, David's like every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm doing an hour or 2 hours. Yeah. And Clark would do the same thing with his games. And I think that the problem was like we were all out of gas at different times and nobody else was running. I mean, nobody else would run, right? Like you, me, Christy, that was it, you know, like, and we could do it for so long, but then everybody saying, oh, I want to play games on Mondays, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. Like, you know, the bottom dropped out and there was nobody there to like keep something, you know, going. And I honestly just like ran out of steam. I just couldn't post all of the social media stuff, and
we had other people that were, going to do that.
I know, but they didn't, right? And life came up and stuff like that. And I think that the thing that Clark and David have done is like they've leaned on Mitch or Clark on some of his people, but then they also like just put a ridiculous amount of time into constantly doing shit to like
it's consistency for a long time, and sometimes you break through, sometimes you don't. And that's and if that level of commitment isn't appealing or fun, then
I don't think that's even like
fine.
Yeah. No.
I also think that there's also a bunch of 20-year-olds that watch Clark and Dave that have a bunch of disposable income, and they're doing video games and toys, and we're telling stories. And if you aren't a part of that storytelling, or you don't want to engage like Spike and Shaggy and like all these folks that are the core people that are around all the time, then you're not, right? But I don't think that we've ever kind of put the kind of thing out there. I mean, do we say on every single stream, this is a group of individuals known World United that are committed to, but like we don't have kind of like the same shtick that they do, because it's not going directly to us. It's never gone directly to us ever. And the one time we did have it go directly to us, we got accused of being out for ourselves, and we were doing the wrestling shit, and I was like, oh, okay. Buying $1,000 cameras and trying to improve the product and basically doing your jobs for you is somehow we're out for ourselves. Okay. So I think there's a lot of burn and churn in all of this that's exhausting. And I also think that, there's a global pandemic and your health is a lot more important to me than like us going and doing things, like when we can do them online. So I think that there's the aspect of that too, right? Like we gathered in the basement, with people, with snacks, with drinks, it was a social event as much as it was anything else, which is just, hard to do through this guy or gal or non-binary pal. Yeah. Anyway. I don't mean to shut you down, but I do want to lift you up and like all of the work that you did during that time. And like I said, I mean, the last 2 years has basically just been you streaming on the channel since Drakewin stopped.
No, I don't think you're doing anything negative at all.
Yeah. Anyway.
So I know we talked about doing some different show type stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I know we talked about doing I Have a Bad Feeling About Boldly Going.
Uh-huh.
I still would like to do that, and we talked about it a couple times.
Uh-huh.
Couple times. I would still like to do heel turn.
Yeah.
But a different style of heel turn. Almost more like this. Characters welcome. I think this is brilliant. It also scratches a little bit about between two Verns thing.
Yeah.
We always talk about doing meet and greet.
Yeah.
And then just as we were talking, I kind of wouldn't mind doing this.
Doing what? Hold on 1 second. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting.
I mean, we would do like commentary.
Yeah.
We would watch a couple matches and we would just do what we used to do very well.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I've listened to commentary that other people are doing for different organizations, and I'm like, maybe it is me liking the smell of our own shit, but it's also me just going like, I feel like we were pretty good at that.
Yeah.
And then I still want to do this. I think
Yeah.
this was brilliant. I think it could have been done for a whole good commentary, Shaggy, like we used to do.
Yeah, it's the joke commentary is low hanging fruit.
Yeah. I'd like to actually do what we did very well for Heavy On, and then before that for an organization I will not even name. So, but I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
It could be fun too to go back and find some of that local stuff you were finding on YouTube and do that. But and I don't know what the fair use would be for that, because I see people show shit all the time that I'm like, how the fuck are you doing that? And then I'll see somebody do who's doing an actual review of like a match or whatever from, or like even a Godzilla movie, and then Toho or New Japan or whoever will strike it, copyright strike it. But you know, it's just weird how that is so arbitrary. So, and I don't know what constitutes fair use. God, I guess it's wild. Same thing with music. I've seen people use songs of artists I very much enjoy as their intro and outro, and they will name the song and the artist like on the screen. Is that all they need to do? Because it's like, wow.
Depend on I think it depends on how much of it you use and on the artist, and like sometimes they'll just go after you, because Dave had to stop playing that enhancement talent commercial because it got copyright struck by somebody, and then he appealed it and was like, yeah, this is just like the generic Microsoft Movie Maker music, and they let it go again. But the fact that it happened at all,
that's so wild that someone would even copyright strike that.
Yeah,
that's insane to me. Like,
yeah, it's hard to know what drives it, whether how much of it's automated, how much of it's people being dicks or not, or
yeah. I mean, you're not wrong, Shaggy. It's wild how that works. So, but yeah, I would like. These are things that I think would be fun to do. Not necessarily things that like people would want to watch, but things I would enjoy doing.
Well, I think that's where you got to start.
Yeah.
That was, there's a Miyazaki quote that's been going around recently, because I guess somebody at Disney or whatever asked him about, who working on Inside Out 2 or something. It was like, what do you do? How do you work, around audience reactions and stuff like that? And he's like, oh, I never worry about the audience.
I mean, it does make sense. I mean, and that's the thing that's so frustrating about all this. Is I don't want anyone to think like this is just a slog to do any of this stuff, because it's not. It's that the way my brain works is I absolutely dread doing almost anything. And then we start doing it and it's great. It's no different like sports. And this is high school and college. Fucking college was the worst. People would be like, you walk a fucking hole in the floor. And then kickoff would happen and I would just be so happy. The anticipation of everything going wrong, just because of my GAD and my general anxiety disorder combined with my fucking major depressive disorder, makes this shit fucking hard.
Yeah.
But once we get going, I love it. But getting started is hard. And I can't express that enough. And I can't, It's hard to explain because it doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make sense to me.
That's why you just have to drag him in, kicking and screaming.
And this is why James and I have always been such good friends, is because James has big ideas and he has big wants that, generally speaking, 99.9% of the time are about doing something good and are about getting you to do something good as well. And rather than saying, hey, I'm thinking about doing this good thing, he'll just be like, hey, we're doing this good thing.
Hell yeah.
And it's like, I have the opportunity to say no and back out, but he also knows that's really not my personality either. If you're my friend and you're like, I need you to do this thing, or it'd be really nice if we did this thing, I'll basically be like, I don't want to, but fine. And then I'll end up having a good time. Yeah, thank you, Shaggy. You're exactly right. I don't know.
If we were to do this, right? Like if we were to actually make it go, because that's the other thing. I think that the other thing is there's only so much social capital that we all have to spend on stuff like this. You know, like, do we want to do that to recoup the funds, or do we want to just say like, hey, everybody who does this with us once a year, like, would you chip in $10 to this thing? You know, like,
but that's the thing is, I don't like, when it comes to social capital, I don't give a shit about that. That's, to me, it's for Extra Life. It would be, when I put out the idea of a Patreon, it's just like, it's very similar to what Chris did. Hey, if you want to follow along and stuff, that's great. And I realized that if we were to do that, I would probably require me to do little video things more often than I want to do. But I'd be fine doing that as well. I like the idea of just throwing some of this shit up there, though, and be like, hey, if you want this, you can go and have it. Maybe notes, things like that. But just even $1 from 3 people is $3 more to put towards this bullshit than I already am. And I mean, right now I was hoping to get a new computer, but because this whole work severance thing has been an absolute fucking nightmare, and that for sure position that was there for me is no longer there, because they've went with a more politically viable position or person, or politically beneficial, I should say. I have to figure something out. Toot sweet, because it's probably going to eat up what severance I do get in the interim to be able to, have my house and eat and all that good stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's not actual my capital that I don't like spending, but it's also like sometimes gets to be like it would be cool to have a way to supplement it even in the tiniest bit in order to not just watch it just go. Does that make any sense? I'm not saying it right. I don't know.
No, I don't think that that's wrong. But I also think that you vastly and have always vastly underestimated your social capital.
But I don't even see, that's the thing. That's a word. It's a lot like content. It's a word I don't enjoy because I don't think I fully fathom what it really is. And I don't like what I don't understand, James. You know this.
I'm well aware of that. This is the 10th year we've done Extra Life, and I have dragged you kicking and screaming a lot along, but I have also never managed to get you over the precipice of, I think, putting a goal down that you are like more than capable of surpassing. Because I think that you regularly over deliver on a very low goal, and I think that it's the manifestation of exactly what you said, right? Like, it's not something you feel comfortable doing. It's not something that like you even kind of fully wrap your head around, or may feel discomfort with, which I think is like probably the most normal thing in the world. Because I don't think the way that I do all of this is terribly normal. And I think that, when we're going back to talking about, Clark or Dave, I mean, they are constantly, developing and spending social capital, I mean, because they are nice people, they're people that are affable and, they galvanize, other people that want to do things and, and they do it. Right. I think that's the kind of the gist of all, content creation, whatever, making money in this. But I'll say, like, I love my brother to death, but I don't think that he's like a business mastermind, fully kind of cashing in on what he is, because he is so affable, right? Like, I think that if there was a kind of keener attention paid to the logistics of that and the business side of it, it could probably also, do good things and make money. And I think that that's the thing, that it's very hard to cross that line, right? Because you don't want that social capital to be spent in a way that makes you appear disingenuous to the like altruistic goals of the majority of the time. We are doing this to raise funds, but in order to do that, we all also work jobs, and the amount of money that I donate, even at the beginning, when I say, if you will donate $20.24 and sign up on the first day of sign up, when I send that link out, I will also donate $20.24. I'm a couple $100 in before we've even like sniffed what we're going to do for the year, like, and I think that that's, that's part of it, right? Like, you kind of, it's the old adage that's never stopped being true, which is like, you got to spend money to make money, or you got to spend capital to make capital, and we, for the most part, spend our social capital, but we also spend, all of our, chronological capital and like literal capital, to make this successful. And we've been real fucking good at it, like, just like these other things. It's like, if we're putting in everything we have, we're doing amazing work, right? Like raising $100,000, getting 10,000 hour views a month, for a local promotion that's arguably, started off as probably the 5th best promotion, and I think probably ended up, in terms of regular content while we were participating, in the top 3, at least in the cities.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's the other thing. Like Spike, right? Like, it's hard to just get past some of these barriers of our own anxieties to do something, So the fact that we do it, and we've done it for 10 years, and before that did it for years and years as a group, and it only takes one asshole saying, let's go raise money for kids, and you not being able to say no, for us to switch 10 years of doing that beforehand into 20 years of doing this, right? I mean, I think that that's the other thing that's like really important to think about, is like, how many people do something for more than a couple weeks, let alone like all of us having played games for decades. I mean, I think that that's, there's if there's no new ideas, it's hard to, I think, generate this every single year at the same peak of what we're doing. But we also used to only do it for 24 hours. We didn't do a full ass weekend, right? We did 24 hours, and we packed what we could into it. And the first couple of years when we were just doing 24 hours, we started realizing our limitations, and we started scaling back and doing like maybe 3 or 4 like bomb ass sessions. But they were also with people that were doing this like full time. Like, if you look at our rosters, I went back and looked at like the rosters for the first couple of years. It was like everybody playing in those games were people that were playing in at least 2 games. Like, they were people who knew how to role play, but part of being more inclusive and like reaching out and, doing broader, more diverse content, and, hopefully appealing to a broader, more diverse, viewership, is like, it's not as potent, it doesn't have to be, because it's spread out so much more. So I don't know. I think that there's always going to be things that we'll look back and go, God, I wish we did that still. And I think that there's other things like having a queasy feeling for like 2 days afterwards while I was trying to teach. You know, not my favorite feeling in the world. So, yeah. Anyhow, I think good talk. I think we'll be good.
I mean, I don't think it's ever a bad discussion to have.
Yeah.
Well, I do. I mean, it's good that you're taking it in the context in which things currently exist, because you are dealing with some shit right now, and
I think I'm just it's a lot right now, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, you would be doing yourself a disservice to ignore that. But yeah, it's okay that things are weird and that it's causing you to think about things. But I also think it's important, and I've had this talk with myself. I had this talk with Danny. It's like, we get into an argument over something, or there's something that's bothering you, and you can say, well, yeah, this is a problem. But I also know that I'm not like in my normal frame or state of mind right now. It is important to not just let that discount it entirely. You still need to say, okay, yeah, maybe I'm feeling this more because I'm in this situation or state, but also, be aware that there may be some real truth there that you're just able to ignore a lot of the time, and examine that, when you are in a better state, and say, okay, what parts of this am I really feeling, and is there stuff here that I can or should change, or am I fine with what it is, and I can just chalk it up to, oh yeah, I was having a shitty day.
Yeah.
I also think that just because it's our 10th year doing this doesn't mean that like we should feel some sort of like extra obligation, or that like, I mean, Zach and Christy are working through a family health thing. You are working through a job thing. Like all of us have a lot on our plates right now. And I think that doing what we want to do, because it's going to raise money one way or the other. And like,
Well, I know we talked yesterday. It's like this, one of the things about this year is it's like we're kind of just doing a year where we've toned it down and we're trying to have the most fun possible this year.
Yeah.
Which, that's I'm all about that. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I just am also, it has nothing to do with Extra Life. That's the thing.
Yeah, no, I get it, but I think that, that's also it, right? Like if it has nothing to do with Extra Life, maybe like, we do less, or we don't put the expectation on, I mean, I think that's part of the conversation we were having, is just kind of like being like, oh, actually, no, let's not.
Yeah.
Let's not, let's just do two things that we really like, and get like seek out the people that you would want to play in that thing, and not worry about like, does everybody get a spot at the table if they don't even acknowledge the table the other 362 days of the year. Like if we want to do something fun with our friends, and that's what brought us to the table in the first place, to raise over $100,000 in 10 years, then like maybe that's what we should do, instead of being like egalitarian. I know that kind of flies in the face of some of this, but I think that we've lost a lot over the years by like trying to please everybody, when the only people we actually want to please are kids that need funds, that are sick, that don't have them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow,
I don't know. Like I said, I'm not at all really concerned with Extra Life is when it comes to that, because I think that'll be good.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's kind of all the other stuff, trying to figure it out and try to make it fun and try to make it not just, a 1 to 2 man band, but I think that's also hard, because then it's asking other people to be like, drag them kicking and screaming to something that if they don't really want to do, why would they do it? I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So it's an unfair thing. It's just, I guess it's. Again, I do agree with Matt. I think right now some of it has to do with like feeling on like that accompanying what's going on outside of work. Or outside of work. See, outside is just like feels like a giant march to nowhere, and that in itself is just sucks. And that's where my brain is. It's the only reason probably why I got brought up today.
Well, but again, I don't think you're thinking about it more because you've got other stuff that's drawing your attention to it, or just But again, I don't think you should just discount those feelings either.
Yeah. Anyway, well, that was a bummer, huh?
No. It's good to talk about that stuff.
I came for the creativeness. I stayed for the bummer.
Well, and I think it's important to. I mean, yeah, don't live in it, don't like wallow in it, but it's important to to like show that stuff, and the whole idea of social media as this like polished, whatever, the shiny happy, like we're gonna sand off all the edges and everything's gonna be perfect. It's like, no, I think it's good to talk like, oh yeah, sometimes this stuff is hard or it's not fun, or here's what I'm getting out of this, even though this is a bit of a struggle right now. I think it's good to have those conversations and to show that that's part of it.
Also, the people that show up are people that like are
Yes.
in this headspace and doing this. Like, it's not like a bunch of kids are showing up and we're just like, reading to them from the Diary of Anne Frank. Like, this is not like anybody else here cannot afford therapy. Anybody currently going to therapy? No. All right. Well, this feels real good, and I feel like we can't. Like, part of prep school to me is also like prepping for like our lives, not just our games. And I think that that's part of the shtick, So, yeah. Who else can you bum out with than your buddies? Happy birthday to Shaggy.
Yeah.
Sorry, Shag.
Oh, geez.
Sorry, Scoob.
I think that we can't do the work that we do or run the games that we run if we don't have anything left in the tank.
Well, I've put on my salmon suit, and I've got plenty left in the tank, John.
Hey.
So it's just it is what it is.
Some days are bummers.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Sometimes life is just a turd that you have to smear on your head.
Okay.
Other times it's not. Other times it's
Other times it's not. Other times it's not.
Matthew, why? Well, but
that
why?
is a new one. That's a new one for me. But
where did that horrific thing come from?
I think it was a Riff Tracks short thing.
Really? I don't. Yeah. What? I don't even know how to respond to this, Matt.
you have to watch out for the quite nice ones. Why, Matt? Why?
Oh God.
That's beautiful.
I don't even know how to respond to this.
You know what I recommend to everybody if you're feeling down, or you just want to enjoy yourself, go to Tubi and watch Hundreds of Beavers.
Yeah, I need to watch that. If it was more horror, I would just add it to my 31 and 31. But the problem is because I need some new movies to add to my list, because a bunch of them I put on there, I didn't realize until now, they are movies on like Amazon where I'd have to rent them or buy them. And fuck you, Amazon. You already get enough of my money. I'm not going to rent or buy a movie from you. Eat my entire asshole. So, I mean,
gotta readjust that list, yeah.
So yeah, I've had to take some things out that I was very interested in. Like, I don't know, has anyone else ever heard of a movie called Daniel Isn't Real?
Yeah.
I was very excited to watch that movie. It's like a psychological horror, and it's got like Schwarzenegger's kid in it and someone else's
Oh, I
kid in
can't
it.
lie.
And it's like the whole idea is this guy's basically inner monologue / imaginary friend starts doing the shit he won't do to get where he wants to go in life. And that's the whole thing is like he keeps blaming it on this other thing, and that thing doesn't fucking exist. And it was interesting because I'd heard about it when it came out, and I was like, oh, that could be good. And kind of went on the back burner, and now it's like 3 or 4 years later, and they still want me to pay for it. So I don't know.
What do we got going on this week?
Matt, what do you got going on?
Nothing.
Hell yeah, Matt.
Yeah, I don't know. My wife and her brother are going to see The Substance today, so I'll be curious to hear how they.
I heard it's really good.
I've heard it's solid as well. I'm not as much of a horror guy, so I'm fine to let them go and enjoy it, and I'll just hear about it after.
Did you convince Danny to watch In a Violent Nature?
Not yet, but I will bring it up because she's usually down for whatever.
That movie is awesome. I know I'm banging the drum for something, but if you like the classic,
what was that other one telling me about?
Slasher movie, and you want to watch from the perspective of the killer for the entire movie.
What was the other one you were telling me about that was kind of like a found footage sort of deal, and then like a town got wiped out or whatever?
Oh, there's two, and they're both older movies, and I think they're both on YouTube. There's one called Savage Land,
That's the one
is a documentary style thing, and there's no like found footage; it's all in photographs.
Okay,
and it's also like I would consider it like socio-political horror because it has to do with migrants and it's on the border, and that this horrible thing happens, and the one guy who survives happens to be Hispanic, and they're just like, guess you did it. You took all these pictures. You must have done this. And he's like, obviously I did not. And he gets executed. Convicted and executed. I won't reveal any more than that because the ending's fucking great. The other one is The Bay, which is also a found footage about an eco disaster where, us doing shit to the ocean comes back to haunt us horribly. And the bureaucracy that slows the response down that ends up killing a lot of people. And I will tell you, you'll never look at sea lice the same way again. What a nasty little animal. And seeing them as bigger makes them far worse. It's very good. I would also say where I think it's called Where Evil Lives or Where Evil Dwells. No, it's called When Evil Lurks. Sorry. Which is, I believe, a Spanish movie. It came out last year and won a shit ton of awards. And the whole premise is that in this world, possession is like a disease. So exorcists are like dispatched doctors. And unfortunately, a outbreak happens and shit goes bonkers. It's very good. And it is very nasty. And then I watched Salem's Lot 2024. I don't know if you or your lovely wife have any relationship to that movie. But I would say nothing beats the 79 Tobe Hooper version, the TV movie version, because it's as close to the book as you can get. And the things it misses, the 2004 TNT miniseries starring Andre Braugher and Rob Lowe does a very good job with, that people forget ever existed, and it's also very good. Oh, it's also got Rutger Hauer and Donald Sutherland in it as Barlow and Straker, which are the two epimonious bad guys.
How did they generate the money to pay for that.
It's really well done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like really well done. It was back when TNT or TBS, I can't remember which one it was actually like doing like big money stuff. And I can't remember who plays Susan in it. But that actress isn't as good as young Bonnie Bedelia in the OG. The OG also has one of the actors from Starsky and Hutch, I believe, as the main character. Either Starsky and Hutch or Chips. I can't remember which TV show it was, but he's great in that. But I believe it's Hauer as Kurt Barlow and Sutherland as Straker, which in the OG movie, it's God damn it, all of a sudden I can't remember his name. He's got a very distinct voice too. God damn it, what is his name? Bear with me, my brain is trying to get there.
Bartholomew, the boy queen.
No, God damn it. The fuck, James Mason.
James, okay.
Oh God, I knew it was there, and I love that because James Mason talks like this. I am James Mason, and he is playing Straker in the OG movie, and he's so good because he's so fucking creepy. So anyway, the new movie is like Crib Notes. It's maybe one of the fastest 2-hour movies I've ever watched. I mean, it flies by. But if you came for characters that aren't paper thin, watch one of the other two. Because this is literally like cuts and staples together. Like, takes like 1,000-page book and makes it, like 25 pages. It's a movie of set pieces. They're very fucking cool set pieces, though. And the other thing I think it does well, because I won't harp on, because I actually liked it. It's very fun. It's got the mood down. It's got that 70s vibe. It's creepy as fucking spots. Like, they've got that fog, like just the vampires themselves are just creepy. They're a little more animalistic than I would like, because that was kind of the key of those other versions of that story. And in the book, they're smart. They're a little more animalistic, except for the children. And the children vampires are fucking terrifying. There's a wonderful homage to The Last Man on Earth / I Am Legend in it that is peak creep. Maybe the creepiest scene in any movie I've seen all year. Especially if you're looking at it from the perspective of a child, which is what happens. I'll give it away because I don't think any of you two guys will watch it. Kid flees into his treehouse.
Okay.
Closes everything. There's voices outside. He was being chased by a child vampire, his friend. Shot pulls out. The treehouse is crawling with kid vampires, and they're just saying, "Come out and play, just come out and play." And they're crawling on it. Like, some of them are underneath, some of them are on the sides. Mark has pulled in the flagpole he has sticking out the side, and he's got it as a weapon. And what you realize there, he's just stuck in there all night. It's fucking terrifying. Because if you've read Matheson's story, I Am Legend, or you've seen the Vincent Price Last Man on Earth, or even if you've seen Charlton Heston and the Omega Man, in that original story by Matheson, the vampires, the story is like that character is literally the last man on Earth. He's the one who survives the plague. Mm-hmm. Everyone turns into basically what is vampires. I mean, while the I Am Legend Will Smith movie is not terrible, it's very much like, here's the loose skeleton of Matheson's story. which is kind of what Sam's Lot is in a lot of ways. It's made for mass consumption. But in that story, one of the creepiest parts is every single night when he locks down his house, his home, the vampires, the infected people come around his house and try to get him to come out all night. They just come out. Some are former friends and colleagues, and they're like begging him to come out. And, you know, so you've got this guy who can barely sleep because of this, because he also has to stay somewhat mentally aware because they try to break in all the time. And then there in the day, he wakes up and he goes from place to place killing them. So to them, he's the fucking monster.
Yeah.
As they try to rebuild the new society, he's their fucking monster. So Matheson's a great writer. It's a great story. The Will Smith flick is watch Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price. If you want a very, very close representation, it's a black and white flick. Price is amazing in it. If you want to watch a action 70s version of it with Chuck Heston being a badass in a world gone horribly awry, watch Omega Man, because it's also very good. In this case, in that case,
saying stunt doubles.
Yeah, in that case, the monster people have taken a more religious bent, and he's sitting in his high-rise, weaponized, trap-laden home, which is great. It's goofy as fuck. I love it. But they're both closer to the actual book than Smith's CGI monster movie.
Well, I know they changed the ending of that one before the original.
Yeah, there's a couple different endings for that Will Smith version. There was like the downer ending, then I think that was not the theatrical.
You're right.
The book ending is the same ending as we get in Price's story. If you want to know the spoiler, turn off your fucking stream for 5 minutes. The ending in that is he's tricked by a new version of the infected, which is a woman who claims to not be infected, and he can't figure out if she is or not. And she basically tricks him, and at the same time she realizes that he's not a fucking monster. But she's also like, we can't continue this way. They catch him and they publicly execute him.
We can't keep doing this.
And the last part of the book, I think literally the last line is "I am legend." Is him basically realizing an internal dialoguing, like, I realize now that as the last man on Earth, I am like the monster. Like, this is new society. I don't belong here. I'm the throwback. I am the representation of what was. You know, I'm the monster in the day that comes into their homes and murders them. You know, I am legend, and that's how it ends. And it's fucking great. Richard Matheson, highly, highly, highly underrated author. A lot of TV stuff you've seen, Matheson probably had a hand in writing a lot of it. Just look up his bibliography. It's wild how many things he wrote. So, yeah, anyway, there's your book moment of the week. Shrimp heaven now, bitches.
Shrimp heaven now. How about you, Ben?
Sexy Binks.
What you got going
on? Tomorrow, Star Wars. I'm ready for it.
We should let everybody know that, because I don't know if everybody knows that.
Tomorrow's Hidden Path. Yeah. It's the second Monday of every month.
This is the first Monday.
Is it?
Yeah, I thought it happened on the first Monday. So
it's not this week. I don't have anything this week. Okay. I should remind Colin, because I think he thinks it's. I don't know. Does anyone want to play anything tomorrow night? Does anyone want to do anything tomorrow night?
Maybe. Maybe we Moria, because Colin will bring the kids back. We could all hang out and chat and mind.
Well, I can't play. I would just
you could.
Well, I'm thinking like maybe. I was thinking more like, do you want to try Into the Zone tomorrow night?
Sure. Yeah.
The Zone. Colin, I know, thinks we're gaming. Like Ryan thinks. I don't know if Ryan thinks we're doing Star Wars or not.
I don't know.
But maybe if you would be so kind to send out a message and be like, hey, if you thought we were playing Star Wars tomorrow night, that's actually a week from tomorrow night. Anyone want to jump in and play this DMless game?
Sure.
Matt, you want to try out the zone with us?
I have slept for shit the last couple days with this cat stuff, but so
sorry.
still dealing with that. But
Matthew,
yeah.
Matthew,
Yes.
I'm sorry, buddy. I hope the cats are doing okay. I'm really worried about them.
I mean, they're fine for the most part. Nigel's just napping over here in the corner.
I know, but it makes me sad because they're such good boys.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Nobody's happy about the situation.
Oh, God damn it, Spike.
And I think they'll be okay. We've done this before. We've dealt with this before. And
I know, it just makes me sad, man. Because
it's a bummer. It's a bummer. But
oh,
we'll get there. We'll get through it.
Yeah, sorry. I just always worry. I'm a worrier, and I really like.
But not the warrior.
No,
Yeah.
that's
Come on, dude. Copyright. You already get to be a king. You can't be a warrior.
I'll get a cease and desist from fucking Ryan, and that would not be good.
That'd be amazing.
No, we should maybe do a thing called cease and desist.
Yeah,
I know it'd be really funny.
Just like all of our ideas for things that we've done or not done.
I will here real quick. I will Google it and I'll put the Zone RPG. See if I can find that link really quick.
There's a podcast called Cease and Desist already.
God damn it. So this is the game. This is the website. It has all the tools to play the game for free digitally.
Cool.
And that's really cool. I think that would be super fun. It's a DM-less game. It's a storytelling game. The premise is you're all walking into an area you're probably not coming out of, and it's going to change you. Kind of like if anyone's seen Annihilation or The Thing or The Thing's very, very cheap brother, uncle, I should say cousin, Black Ridge Mountain, which I reviewed on Discord, which is like you and your friends getting ready to get together with a camcorder and going, hey, we should remake The Thing. Well, I'll be McCready. We can't call him McCready. I'll be McReady. Perfect. That's what I'm talking about. I want to be Childs. We can't call you Childs. How about Childers? You're Childers. Perfect. That is literally the movie. Like everybody has a name similar to someone in The Thing.
King, do you have? I'm planning to send it to the Star Wars crew first, just because I thought we played on the first.
No, the first Monday was reserved for DNO, so now it's reserved for miniseries games.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm just
Star Wars
I'm off a week because I was
Scar 3. Scar's the third. Okay. I'm off too because I forgot that Monday was the 30th. When it does weird shit like that, it fucks me up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then we will play Operation Gray Particle, a mission into the zone tomorrow.
Did you just generate that with Create New Game?
Maybe I did.
So I have Gray Particle is such a good name.
Yeah, that's good. So I'm gonna send it out to the Star Wars people just because, like, I think other people thought it was tomorrow just because of the.
Put it on Discord too. Just throw it on Discord as well.
How many people can we play with?
It's 1 to 5, which is wild that it can also be a single player experience.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool because a lot of it is there's no dice, it's just cards, which are prompts. So it's like Fiasco. If anyone wants to see how cool Fiasco can be, a couple years ago Zach ran Fiasco during Extra Life, and Fiasco is a game like this, like it's a writer's room game that's built on the vibes of the Coen Brothers movies. And he ran a game with Christy. I can't remember else, myself and somebody else at the end of Extra Life a couple years ago. And
Fiasco? Fiasco game?
I played a high schooler, a dumb jock high schooler who was sleeping with, I think, Christy's character. If anyone's seen, what's the Coen Brothers movie with with Brad Pitt as like the personal trainer who's dumb as a box of rocks.
After reading.
Burn After Reading. Yeah.
That's basically what I played.
Mm.
So at the end of the game, when we're kind of figuring the fallout of everything, there's literally a prompt question of, well, who lives and who dies? And they all turned and looked at me. I was like, oh, my guy dies. He's too dumb to live. He's too dumb to survive this. He's gotten so far over his head, he has no idea where his feet are. So yeah, he's got to die. It was a very, very, very fun session, and I've never been able to successfully run Fiasco, just because I think it's less of a game you run, more of a game you facilitate. And Zach does that better than anybody I've played games with altogether, maybe even combined. This takes a little bit out of your hands, because in Fiasco, that person is actually facilitating. The zone doesn't even need a facilitator. The cards are the facilitator.
Okay.
I'm very excited.
Yeah,
That's going to be super fun.
Great. I'll be interested to hear how it goes.
I think it's going to go well, because we wanted to play it for Extra Life as well.
Well,
Sessions are 2 to 3 hours. So
I like when Ben is able to play things.
Me too.
I mean, let's be honest. I love to play things, but the simple fact that I'm going to get to run our hack and the adventurous called the Alabama White thing is fucking amazing. I just need to find a way to, and maybe I'll do it tomorrow, since I'm just doing state applications tomorrow. Maybe doing a couple interviews, is I'll try to format this a little bit better for mass consumption.
Right on.
And then put it in a PDF. Because I think I might play Zomboid after this for a couple hours on stream.
It sounds like a fun plan. I think I'm gonna maybe go take a nap. But
I will take a nap after that. And I got to choose a horror movie for today. So, any suggestions on a horror movie I haven't seen?
Jason X. Oh,
next year I'm watching movies I've actually seen, so I don't have to do this like this. And Jason X is probably going to be day one. And what I want to do is
I'm there.
I
will stick with you for one of 31 days.
I know. Here's what I think I want to do next year. And if people think this is cool, let us know. I think I want to try to watch movies with people. Like even if we do a day where we watch 4 movies together, I think I want to chill and then do the reviews together, like Doug and I did, because I had so much fun with that movie, even though it was not a good movie. But like I said at the end, this is a movie to watch with your friends and imbibe, or at least watch with your friends and laugh at how ridiculous it is. I enjoy even a good movie with other people, but I fucking love a fun movie with other people, like Black Devil Doll from Hell.
I'll never watch it again.
But I would love to watch Jason X with Beard. Because I
think next year you should solicit 31 movies from people, and maybe 15 people sign up, and you do 2, you do 2 with everybody, or everybody picks 3.
A true spook troop.
Yeah, an actual troop. And maybe you make soup as well.
Oh.
Well, are we still doing soup troop this year?
I don't know. We got to get people to buy in.
Well, what if it's just me, you, and Matt?
Yeah, dude.
Matt, do you make soup?
I soup so hard.
I did see apparently you, in addition to spicy tomato, you can now get cream of bacon Campbell's soup.
What?
Hello.
Hello there.
Cream of bacon and cream of shrimp.
Why now?
Shrimp have it now. I think what would you do with? I mean, bacon I can understand. It's like a porky goodness, but what would you do with shrimp? Maybe a chowder, like a chowder base?
Yeah, you can use it as,
or potato soup base.
Yeah, shellfish based. I mean, jambalaya.
No, Shaggy, no cost. I'm not doing. No, maybe. I don't know. Maybe if we get a Patreon going, maybe we'll do something like that. Because I said for Extra Light this year, I want to at least put up one pay this amount and King will run a game for you.
Yeah.
And friends
Or do a Substack, or do. I mean, there's so many different.
I don't even know what. I
I would talk to Clark. I mean, I think we should actually have a conversation about like, because he's looking at diversifying. Like he has like 5 different ways people can give him money.
Diversify your portfolio.
Yeah, diversify
and
your
protect
bonds.
your neck, Clark.
Wu-Tang Financial. I don't think we're going to get any better
thing
than
I
that.
sent you, where it's just the Wu-Tang with all have Wu-Tang heads now.
Disrespect
your environment, you fucks.
Oh, yeah.
Wu-Tang is the ultimate vibe. That's my ultimate transformation form. Is a pygmy hippopotamus that gives 0 shits about everything. All right. So the zone tomorrow night, Meng on Tuesday, Matt. You're welcome to barge in and laugh at our failures. Since we always talk about how we are the Shotgun Saturday Night to you guys is WCW Nitro. While we're adjacent to where the big boys play, we are not where the big boys play.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're working on. I think Colin's probably working on some Lego stuff. I have no idea what I'm doing. I've got a bunch of stuff I need to work on, but I've just had no motivation. And I think that's it for the week. Maybe Friday. Maybe Friday. Do you want to do Moria?
Possibly. I need to figure out. Let me look.
I've always said like the first Friday of the month is bad at games.
Gotcha. Yes. Let me bring up my schedule. We don't have Greta, but I need to make sure we don't have any like house project crap. We've got a lot of things.
If not, maybe
that would probably work. Yeah, let me double check with Sarah, and I'll let you know because that'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean,
we're hankering for some more Moria. Honestly.
Yeah, I do enjoy watching people play that game. I'm just frustrated I can't play it. That's all.
We were literally trying to figure out, like, can we play after Colin's kids go to bed? And not have like a super fun like freak out, like, oh my god, wake them up. So
that's, I mean, like, like Colin and I were talking about, I was like, a game is good when you're just like counting down the moments. I'm like, well, I get to play this game. The other thing I want to say is I want to play Zomboid with a group of people again. But here's the thing: there's a mod out called Day One that Nurse is now using almost every time she has a playthrough, which is literally Day One. Like you start the game like in a house with other survivors, NPC survivors, as like helicopters and the military is like dropping fucking bombs and zombies running through the street and mobs of humans just killing zombies as you're just like trying to find a place basically to hole up. And then if you make it long enough, the military shows up like in squads. So the one thing that she does repetitively is she just tries to hang out with the military NPCs, and then when they die, she just strips them down for all their shit. It looks like watching her use that mod, and she even did it with the child mod, so she had a baby, which you have to spawn the baby in. So she just repeatedly goes to a bathroom and goes, oh, I'm going to poop this baby out. Now spawn the baby. And lets the chat name the baby. So one time it was named like Cthulhu, Megatron, something like it was like had 10 names. It was great. I highly recommend watching Nurse. She's super funny. If you like Clarksky, you would like Nurse. But I would love to play that with a group of people and just be like, okay, how can we do this and not just fucking die in the first 3 minutes? I think it would be a blast because it is such a fucking wild beginning. I mean, like I said, you literally start with like when it pulls your game up, it's just everything is fucking going buck wild.
Nice.
I might actually do I might play Zomboid after this with that mod on.
Nice.
I don't know. I think it could be fun.
Ben, I just sent you the links that you can sign up for our game.
All right. The other thing is I talked to Doug yesterday. And while I'm putting my name in, What's my name, guys? Give me a name here.
I know. Francisco.
Oh, Francisco's good. Francisco.
Liriano. Cease and desist.
CCO de Sesto.
Oh.
There.
Caliente.
Muy caliente. I think I'll try that out. I think I'll jump on here then and play for a little bit. Like I said, I really want some folks to agree to do this with me eventually. The other thing I was saying for crafting kids this year, I definitely feel like you guys should do crafting kids. I'm sorry, the world I was working on, I haven't played Minecraft in months because for a while it was just making me sick. But what I want to do is the last stream / YouTube video Forge Labs did, they played a very cool Jurassic Park style mod. You land on Second Island where there's not really anything there except for fucking dinosaurs. And they're terrifying. It's like horror Minecraft kind of with dinosaurs. And I was like fascinated by it. It's such a good video. I told Doug about it. And I said, Doug, can you make a server with this? It's also got mods in it where you can't make wooden tools. You have to do things like break gravel to get shards of flint to make flint tools, which then you can use to make stone tools. That, you know, on and on and on. Also, like the trees are fucking gigantic. The mine is not a mine, it's a lab system where the velociraptors have gotten out. There's multiple kinds of dinosaurs that are real dinosaurs. They will camp you if they find you because they can smell you. They can break a lot of the materials because they will be relentless about it. There's also dinosaurs that, you know, they're just dinosaurs. They're herbivore boys. But like the Triceratops might be herbivore boys. But if you invade their space, they're very territorial and they will yeet you like 15 blocks. And there are dinosaurs in the water that are fucking terrifying. Like at one point, Sean from Forge Labs fled to the water from a fucking Ceratosaurus. Got in the water and was like, okay, I think I'm safe. I'm going to get some of these fish. And then he saw you see a shadow in the background. And you're like, oh, what the fuck was that giant shadow? And then he realizes there's something in the water very close to me. He flees to the shore just as a Mosasaurus pops up behind him and comes on shore 3 blocks, snapping at him. And it literally, like, watching him play that is as close to a horror experience I've ever seen Minecraft be. Because when it's dark outside, it is dark. And the dinosaurs are actually kind of smart. Like at one point in that video, he thinks he escapes the T-Rex that's chasing him. And he's like, okay, I think we lost it. And so now we're going to circle back to our base. And then he turns like he's looking around. He turns and it's erupting out of the forest from an angle right at him. Like it looped the fuck around. The thing is, though, they also have sleep cycles. So he traps the T-Rex eventually in a box because he waits for it to fall asleep to finish his box around it, which is just great. So it's like not impossible. And when we were watching it, I was like, this would be a fucking blast with other people.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because his thing was he was treating it like, you know, the whole thing is he worked for Mustard Industries and they wanted him to capture dinosaurs. And he did. He captured the T-Rex. And then at the end, he starts a fight with some velociraptors thinking it's 2, and it's actually like 15, and he dies. So his video then, now the way they're doing it is now Shadow Mech is starting by finding his body. So another guy they play with all the time is now picking up where he left off with all of like his build stuff by finding his body on the same island. And that's how they're going to play this series. I'm like, that's fucking cool. So anyway, sorry. I just ranted at you guys about cool shit, but I want to do that for Extra Life.
Sounds good.
And I'm hoping that I can get a couple people who want to visit what was the second island called? Does anyone remember?
No.
You're talking about Jurassic
In
Park?
Jurassic Park? Yeah, it's like Del Isla or
Oh,
something like that.
It was Isla Nublar and Isla Sorna?
Yeah, it's whatever the second island is where
Adventura.
yeah, it's
The 5 are Matanceros, Muerta, Peña, Sorna, and Tiziano.
Yeah, Sorna is Site B or the Lost World.
Yeah.
One.
so I just downloaded
Which
day
also
one
apparently
Bandits.
Sarcasm Island in Spanish.
It's called Sarcasm Island.
That's apparently what.
That's amazing.
At least, I mean, that might just be fucking Google AI.
That's fucking great. All right, I'm in the process of downloading the day one Bandits mod. This is the mod that Nurse uses, and it is buck wild. It's got a 5 out of 5 rating with like, I think over 1,000 people are using it, which is crazy. That's a lot for in the mod workshop.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, 1,026, 5 out of 5 stars. So
Sick.
yeah, that means, hey, that's a really good mod. For a mod workshop. So we'll give that a try, and I think I'll set up to do that after this.
Cool.
And we'll go from there. All right. Does anybody else have anything? I'm sorry, I got so like
An off week
lost in the sauce.
No.
Beer?
Just zone. Just the zone and maybe bad at games.
All right. I guess we'll see you tomorrow night. When we do bad stuff to each other, probably.
Terrible
Shaggy,
stuff.
Spike, always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Always glad to see you guys.
Beat
Yes.
Florp. Ciao.
Bye.
Do you feel like a champion? Do you worry that you don't look?
No, I just okay. Bye bye.